let's talk about painting sky holes. In other words, those spaces that show up in trees that give us a sense of atmosphere and depth in the landscape. So what I have here is just a really simple, this is a very small, just a little bit of scrap paper that I put down, a couple of just very generic tree shapes, a little bit of sky in the background, a little bit of a representation of a distant hillside, just for the purposes of this exercise. And I did a little bit of a underpainting and then applied some dry pastel on top. I'm not really concerned about this particular scene, just really more concerned about adding in some of these sky holes. You'll notice that I have some rough edges around the outside of this tree, and it's easy enough to come in and sort of carve out some interesting shapes based on whatever scene you're looking at from life or from reference photographs that you have. And it's very easy just to come in to make sure that you have sort of a natural looking canopy of trees. And of course, making sure that you use the corresponding value and hue and temperature that you've chosen for the sky. It's darker and grayer up here, a little cooler and warmer and lighter down here, so I wouldn't want to use this color, which I put the sky here, to make a sky hole up here. That wouldn't read correctly, right? I have to make sure that whatever band of sky or other forms or structures that may be behind the trees, I'm using those same values and hues and temperatures to make my sky holes. Remember that with trees, most of the time when we see through them, especially full trees like this, those sky holes aren't just random. And I know that they may appear to be random, but if you look closely, what you'll notice is that we tend to see more of the sky through the trees, close to the trunks, and I've indicated a few trunks here, or branches, because the leaves are growing out and away from those spaces, which makes an opening for the sky to peer through. So once you have your color, and your stick of pastel that matches the sky behind it, you can begin to come in, and what I will generally do is just sort of paint my large tree shape, squint at my reference photo, or squint when I'm painting plein air, get the general shape of the tree, and of course I can always come back in and, working on the tip of the brush, come in and just carve in using a, light amount of pressure and just sort of reshape the tree itself to make sure it has the overall shape that I'm looking for, right? I could continue to work like that. If there is a fairly large gap close, say, to the trunk or one of the main branches, there probably are not a lot of leaves and twigs and things growing between them, and I could use this same stick. Let's say that, and I'm just sort of making up this scene, I don't have a reference photo in front of me, but let's say that I know that there's quite a big gap around the trunk. And I could come in and work on the tip of the stick and put a little bit of air in that tree. Now notice what I'm doing. I'm sort of using the tip of my stick, which is now covered in some green pastel. So one trick is to make sure that you wipe it off regularly. Keep it clean. And I don't have the same size or shape of sky hole on one side of the trunk as the other. If you get in the habit of being very, trying to match them up like that, you're not going to have a natural looking tree trunk. Look how artificial that looks. That's not the way to go. I'm just going to cover over that. I mean, if you do make that mistake inadvertently, you're not paying attention, you could come and put some additional green back over it, cover it up a little bit. I have a few different shades of green I've been using, so I can cover over that a little bit. That's fine. But again, don't have really regular sizes and shapes of your tree holes. And again, maybe I want to indicate there's a branch out, a big branch out here. I could do that. Maybe I want to carve in a little bit more the foliage up here, and I could do that again with the same stick of color. However, for smaller sky holes, where there's not so much of that light or that sky coming through, if I were to use that same value as the sky, it may not register right. I usually will have to go just a shade or so darker. Let's try this one. It's a small little piece. And I could come in to some of these interior places and just make a few marks suggesting some smaller holes here and there. And I might even gently just tap them. I'm not rubbing them in with my finger, I'm just tapping them just to soften those edges. And notice what begins to happen. And then I start to get a little bit more of an organic sense of what some of those sky holes look like. These are probably a little too big, that close to the edge. Again, I was sort of just trying to make some bigger marks to emphasize them. But again, I can sort of come back through. If I feel like it's too much, put a little more green back in. And I will say that I find myself from time to time working a little bit back and forth between sky holes and tree. So I could come in and maybe be a little more subtle about some of these holes that are next to where these trunks are. And they do get thinner at the top. So I might bring some of this is actually this sky color up here, I might bring that down a little bit, break up some of that shape. Again, regularly wipe down my stick so I'm not dragging too much blue into the tree or get some of that green in my blue sky. But I can work back and forth on these edges and then certainly within the interior of the trees, and I start to get shapes that are a little more natural looking. I'm going to put a little more, actually let's use a different stick. Put a little more this color up here. Do a little better job of covering up some of those other sky holes. But again, try to keep these big sky holes closer to your main trunks. That feels a little awkward to me. Remember too that we can have breaks in the tree that do tend to be a little lower in the tree that would show this hillside or mountainside behind it. Again, come in with my mountain color, make sure it's clean. Give it a little wipe with your paper towel or cloth. And I could come in and just not put a lot of pressure and indicate where some of this tree is breaking up and some of that mountain is showing through. And again, I could just gently tap the edges a little bit, soften those edges just slightly, and I've got a much more natural looking tree shape. So give that a whirl. I got this light a little too close to that darker area, so I'm going to come back in with that. Make sure though that whatever's behind the tree, if you have large enough gaps in the foliage, is showing through. And let's say I feel like this is not too light, but if it gets too light, it looks as though something is on top of the tree or hanging from the tree and not a break in the foliage. If it gets too light, what I could do is either just gently tap it with my finger and notice how that's slightly blurred and softened the edges. It's also slightly darkened that pigment, or I could come through and just very lightly glaze over with a little bit of that green or whatever color I'm working with on the tree and soften that edge. And now it looks a little more like a break in the foliage and less like something is hanging on the tree like an ornament on a Christmas tree. We want to avoid that. Again, if I want to show a little more of this hillside coming through, grab my hillside color, break that edge up a little bit. Again, just following whatever reference that you have or whatever you're looking at in nature. I'm just playing around with this as an example so not trying to match something in particular. Again, that mark looks a little too strong. Looks like it's coming too forward. So I can, again, just gently tap the edges. And if that's not quite enough, just work back and forth with my tree color. Go over it a little bit. But just that process of working back and forth, not only of the edges outside the tree, but those sky holes in the middle of the tree, really can give you some very organic, natural looking tree shapes that aren't going to feel like they were drawn on, but rather that they are painted on. So give this technique a try. Go back and forth between your sky holes in your tree. Takes a little practice, but you will get there. Don't forget sometimes to bring some foliage out over those trunks a little bit. We don't want the tree trunks sitting on top of the tree either. We want to be able to see them coming through the foliage. So give those tips a little bit of a try and see if that helps make your trees a little more natural looking. Good luck.